Hi everyone, welcome back to our ongoing series on how to create a life operating system in Notion. Today's going to be a fun and interesting one. We are exploring knowledge management. We're in the midst of a series on how to capture knowledge and make it accessible and help us get smarter and help us expand our lives and our performance better by increasing knowledge input, distilling it, processing it, and then making it accessible and usable. And in the last two videos, we looked at different types of inputs. We looked at books as inputs and then media more broadly across video, articles, and podcasts, how to capture those inputs into those vaults. Today, we're looking at a different vault called the Notes and Ideas Vault. This is the vault for capturing our own ideas and our own thoughts and our own inspirations and things that just come to us, either directly or through conversation or in a way that's not attached to a piece of media. It's possible a piece of media could spark a thought later, and this is where you would enter it. If the thought came up during reading an article or watching a video, and it's a video that was worth capturing, then you'd probably put the thought or idea embedded in the capture of that article or video. But if that article or video wasn't worth capturing, yet you had an idea, then notes and thoughts and ideas that came from videos, articles, podcasts could go into the notes and ideas section if they don't have a source material to be attached to. So really any inspiration or thought or reflection, or if you're working on a team, this is something where everybody on the team enters their thoughts and ideas. And the whole design of this system is so that thoughts and ideas can be captured quickly, which is what this vault is primarily for, capture of those thoughts and ideas. And then other parts of the system that we're going to explore primarily in the next two videos are about how to extract and have the information that was captured in this vault through the notes and through the ideas that we entered, have them resurface at the right time in the right place. So they're very contextual as to where they resurface. And it's not going to be getting in the way and creating a lot of clutter and a lot of noise for us to wade through. Instead, they're just going to magically, or at least deliberately, resurface in the context we need, which is largely going to be in the knowledge vault, but in other instances, in team profiles or other parts of our system. So I'll dive deeper into that. But first, I want to show you how to set up the vault that captures and organizes the information that comes from notes and ideas, and then demonstrate how to put into place quick capture mechanisms in the right contextual locations, the places you're going to be spending most of your time throughout the day, so that when notes and ideas come to you, you can enter them very quickly and efficiently. So with that, let's dive in. Starting on the command center where we typically start, this is our on-ramp, our top-level dashboard. We will go to the mind expansion dashboard, which I would typically go to here, but since we're using a temporary demo version so I could show you in more detail, I'm just going to jump to the demo version here of the mind expansion dashboard. In the past two videos, we looked at the library, which is where the book vault lives, and the media vault, where we capture articles and podcasts and videos, and the academy, which is where we capture notes and thoughts and detailed outlines of the training programs we've done. Today, we're going to look at the notes and ideas database, which is one of the vaults. This database also lives in the vaults section of the pillars, pipelines, and vaults organizational structure. And it's a particularly interesting vault because this is where we capture the ideas and thoughts and inspirations that come to us just of our own reflection. Or if we are reading or consuming some piece of media and we don't want to capture the media itself, but there's a particular idea you want to capture, it would go in here. So just to establish how this database is structured, it's not a particularly complicated one, which is part of what makes it effective. It doesn't need to be complicated, especially when it's something we're interacting with directly on a regular basis. But the notes or ideas will have a name. You'll give them a title so that they're easy to find. And then inside of it, you'll elaborate in the workspace, of course. That's one of the amazing things about Notion. Almost any other quick capture simple app like Todoist or Things, it's not going to give you anywhere near the capability of the workspace pages inside Notion. So not only can you capture a quick idea and a quick thought, which could be a phrase or a few words, or it could be paragraphs, or it could be tables and organization of data. It could be subpages. I mean, you can go as elaborate as you want. I should point out the idea of the entries in the Notes and Ideas database is that they're individual self-contained nuggets. These are not fully fledged explorations of broad ideas. These are very tightly confined in scope, ideas or thoughts or reflections. And the idea is you have all these individual self-contained pieces that will then attach to bigger ideas in the knowledge lab, or potentially to sources of information. But typically, a source of information like a book or a media piece, a podcast, an article, or a video will only be linked if that was the inspiration. So those are typically sources of ideas. If that source is not being entered directly itself in the Media Vault or the library. If it's in the Media Vault and library, and this is an additional idea that came from it, you would tag it as a source. If it's not in the media library or the book library, you just would leave this blank. That's fine. You can still put this here. If you want to give credit to the source so you can remember where it came from, you would enter that down here with the larger note. But the idea is to keep these very small in scope so that different pieces can be attached to different broader ideas in the Knowledge Lab. So here we're linking directly to the Knowledge Lab through a database relations link. One note or one idea could be linked to several different Knowledge Lab topics. So each entry in the Knowledge Lab is a broad topic that you're building up knowledge from many different sources and from your own reflection. We'll get to that in much more detail in the next video. That will be entirely about the Knowledge Lab. But for now, just know as you enter notes, just as you enter article sources or book reflections, that when they're related to a broad topic area that you're building knowledge and awareness of, you will be linking it through this relational link. And so the idea is each of these notes is on a very narrow, specific topic or thought or idea. And you may have related ones, but they're all related because they're connected to these broader topic categories where we're aggregating information. And I'll show you why it's important to link them when we get to that next video. As you're thinking about notes, keep them narrow in scope so that they're modular. They're little pieces that can plug in to other larger topics or themes that you're exploring in the Knowledge Lab. So just as we see these columns over here, we'll open up an entry and look at these properties here, which of course echo the columns across the table. We'll first enter a status, which is always active. So pretty much every database for notes and ideas, every view, an embedded view, will have a filter for active. So when you create a new one, active will automatically be entered because it's filtered for only active items. There is an archived status, and that's just if it's no longer relevant to your world or to the ideas you're exploring or anything that matters. Otherwise, it'll stay active. But there are instances where things just aren't relevant or important. You could delete it or you could turn it to an archived status. Created by contains me. This is important if you're working with a team. If you're not, then you don't need this. If you're working with a team, it's important to have this filter here, that the person who created the note contains me. It should not be your name. It should be me. When you open this, I can't open it because it'll reveal a lot of names of people I work with that don't necessarily want their names broadcast on YouTube. But at the very top, it'll have the option for me, ME, and then it'll have the option for you, your full name that you've entered in your Notion workspace. And then it'll have all the other people that you work with as options. ME means whoever is logged in and viewing this database, in this case, the Mind Expansion database, it will be assigned to that person if you're creating. So it's filtered by me and I hit new and it assigns it to me. But if one of my colleagues were logged in and hit new, it would assign it to my colleague, putting my colleague's name right there. That's the really cool function of selecting me. Alternately, you could select your own name. If this were filtered by my name, then if my colleague were logged in and hit new, it would assign it to my name because that's the way it's filtered. But by me, it's going to assign it to whoever is logged in. It'll both sort and filter by the person who's logged in. So I'm logging in and I'm seeing all these entries that were created by me. My colleague logged in and had a bunch of notes. By nature of the contains me filter, see all the ones filtered by them. It's a custom view tailored to whoever is logged in. Whenever someone creates a note, it automatically assigns that person as the created by. This field is created, one of the default options. If you scroll down here, created by, just like is one of the fields that you can just select. And that means whoever creates the entry is marked here and you can clearly see who created that. Now, if you're using this on your own solo system, then that doesn't matter. Don't even have this as a tag. You would just remove that. But if you're using it as a team, it's really nice to have a created by, and then you can see who's created which entries, which will become more relevant when we look at the teams database over here. So when you create a new one, you're going to set active or archived. You're going to set category. Now the category here, which we see in this column here, can be useful, especially if you're working on a team, but it could also be useful for individuals. So in the team implementation, these would each be departments: a sales team, marketing team, an HR team, an admin, a customer service team. And each of these groups on the team would have their own dashboard. And that means when you set up the dashboard, you could embed this database and have a filtered view of just the notes and ideas entered just for the customer's team or just for the marketing team, or just for the sales team. And it could be sorted again by last edited. So most recent first, up to a week ago, or however long you want. And that's a great way to have the notes and ideas that the team's contributing just automatically available for the whole team to see as they go in. Of course, we'll also have it bubble up by topic in the Knowledge Lab and by team member in the team directory. This category setting lets you have dashboards elsewhere where you're having just the notes and ideas filtered for that dashboard or that group of team members in the case of a team implementation. For an individual, you could have various interests. Say you have a dashboard on your fitness, and some of your notes and ideas are about fitness or nutrition. Or you could have a dashboard on work. You could have a dashboard for any activity in your life. If you have a church services aspect to your life, you could have, spiritual or church noted here. If you have any activity, any clubs or memberships that you continually might come up with ideas or thoughts. So anything that's a general idea category, a topic that you're building a body of knowledge on, that's going to be in the Knowledge Lab, which we're going to talk about in the next video. But anything that's not tied to a broad category of knowledge that you're building, but rather a functional area, you'd put that in category. It could be a sport, it could be a hobby, it could be a work area, it could be any functional part of your life, especially if you have a dashboard view for that functional area. This lets you have a filtered view just in that dashboard area. That's a very powerful use. And we'll see this more and more as we start doing specialty dashboards later in this series. So we're sorting typically by last edited, but we also keep the creation date. Sometimes that's more useful. So the sort has last edited at the top and then just alphabetical beyond that. And we are entering titles, if not names, of each idea. Then I also created the created date because sometimes that's easier to find. And by having it already created, I just drag this up and down to decide if you want it alphabetical. You can easily change it without creating a new sort criteria just by changing the sequence. Whatever's on top will be first and then second and third in terms of the sequence in which it applies those sort criteria. But last edited is almost always what I find to be the most valuable. And then filtered is active and up to a week ago. I find beyond a week, I don't even remember it. But the ability to go back a week if I want to reflect or I want to add something to a note, this makes it easy to find. So as I said earlier, there are two important parts to a notes and ideas database. One is quick and easy input, and the other is that it resurfaces at the right time in the right place. The latter part of that, the resurfacing, we're going to explore in the next videos. So the rest of this video, I just want to show you how to establish quick entry. So first and foremost, this right here in the Mind Expansion dashboard is one of the quick entry points because this is here set up with the right filters just to quickly enter something. It's always pretty easy. I have the Mind Expansion dashboard always set as one of my favorites. These are the ones I always have as my favorites. Client operations, content, alignment zone, action zone, and command center. Mind Expansion is always there. So I can go boom, click there, and I'm here within one click, and I can do anything I want to enter notes and ideas. But that's not the only way because sometimes I'm on the command center. This is the on-ramp and the organizational structure to get to many other areas of the system. So we've talked about this a lot. Now you'll see I've added a new row here, and this is the new toggle. I've tucked away a lot of the old ones with toggles. And I should note, one of our viewers, George, was incredibly kind to send me a dark mode version of our flowchart. I think that's so cool. I had this white one and it just popped out blaring white background and seemed out of place. Now this dark mode looks really elegant. Beyond that, if you're interested in the rest of these, I have a Command Center dashboard video very early in the season that explains how to make the weather widget and the keyboard shortcuts. But the new thing here that I'm introducing today is the Notes and Ideas inbox. Toggle opens. This is the exact same view that we just saw in the Mind Expansion dashboard, but on the Command Center dashboard. Created is on or after a week ago, and status is active. So it's sorted by last edited, though I have the option to move alphabetical or created date up if I want to. So this is the exact same view. We have a couple in here that I just created during this demonstration by accident. Let me delete those. From the Command Center dashboard, I don't have to go to Mind Expansion just to enter a note. I just go to New and enter it right here. But even more useful than the Command Center is the Action Zone. When we're going throughout the day, we get supreme focus by living inside the Today toggle. That's where we go through the day. We have our priorities, which are all set the night before, and we're just executing on the whole list of priorities that we've laid out. And we've got down here, we've got our daily tracking, where we've got our habit tracker. We're checking them off as we go through them in order throughout the day. And then we've got our end of day wind down. So this view here lets us execute the entire day. Only at the end of the day do you have to look at planning beyond the day. So what I've added down here is an additional toggle for the notes and ideas inbox. Now it is right there in our today toggle, and we can quickly add notes and ideas throughout the day without leaving the toggle space that we're living in. I left this toggle closed just so I could reveal it to you, but I will leave this toggle open. So as I close that, and whenever I pop in here to function, I leave this open now too. So now I've got 3 database views: the today action items, the daily tracking and the habit tracker, and the notes and ideas. If I need to close this so I can see more on the screen, I can, but I generally leave it open. So with this one view here, I have everything I need throughout the day, including the ability now to add notes and ideas as I go. So the filter is active or last edited is on or after yesterday. So we don't want a long list of topics here. The filter in the mind expansion zone and on the command center was up through a week ago. Anything edited up through a week ago, that makes sense in those contexts. But in this focus context, this is the super focused, super relevant to now view. You want it just today or yesterday. You could even make it today, but sometimes you want to modify a note or remind yourself of a note you entered yesterday. But beyond that, it's too much and it's not focused enough. So filtered on or after yesterday. That's on or after. This is the last edited. This is the last edited. And then sorted by last edited descending. So most recent first. Of course, we have the ability to resort by create a date if we want to, but usually that's not necessary. And almost always this is what you want. So it's in order of most recent first, everything you've entered today or yesterday, any notes, any thoughts, it's all right here. That is rapid entry in the one view that you live in throughout the day. And that is how we do rapid entry. And that's super valuable as well with this one view right here on the mobile app. This lets you enter and manage your tasks, update your daily tracking and your habit tracker, and enter notes and review notes up through yesterday, all available on your mobile app in a very easy to view screen. And that's how we do it. So that's how we organize the notes and ideas database, and that's how we do quick entry. We're going to get into really what I think is the more interesting part, which is how we make it resurface all those notes and ideas, how we have them bubble up and become available in the right place at the right time. And that's all done in most cases in the Knowledge Lab, and I'll show how the Knowledge Lab becomes the perfect place for those notes to just magically resurface, and then how to have them resurface attached to team members, because sometimes you want to look at them in the context of a team member. I'll show you when and why you would do that when we look at the team member vault. But notes and ideas are all about quick entry, quick capture, and then resurfacing and availability at the right time in the right place. And that's what this whole system is designed to achieve. If this is of interest, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get updates on future videos. Leave thoughts or questions below, or join us on Twitter for a broader conversation. And hit like if you found this video valuable. I also write a newsletter called Mind and Machine on increasing human capability. I give away several of my best Notion templates to anyone who subscribes to the newsletter. You can, of course, unsubscribe at any time, but I hope you'll give it a chance. I work super hard to pack it with a lot of valuable insight. The newsletter link is below in the show notes. Thanks for watching. Lots more to come.